for your time.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you, Aiden. Next up, we have a running back who actually was a selection as a regional MVP a year ago. This year, he is a Warrick Dunn finalist. Running back Harlem Berry from St. Martin's.
St. Martin's running back Harlem Berry might already be on the practice field for the Tigers of LSU, but the legacy he left with the Saints is undeniable.
Being able to look back on it, I think I accomplished a lot of great things, and I just thank God for that and appreciate him for, giving me the position and opportunities to make those accomplishments and just changing the game around there. St. Martin's from being something that nobody really known of to now people know about St. Martin's.
I would say somewhere in the near future, don't be surprised what we end up doing. His jersey's already retired. He might end up with a statue at the stadium, right? Like, he means everything, and it's not so much who he is as the athlete, it's who he was on campus. And he interacted with everybody. It didn't matter age, whether they played sports, didn't play sports. He was just a special figure on that campus, and he always will be.
Berry ranked the best running back in the nation for the class of 2025, not without its challenges, like losing his brother early in his high school career.
I lost my brother my 8th grade year, so that really changed my mindset with a lot of things. I look at that and, tone into that a lot because that just keeps me focused and keeps me going and grinding, especially the senior year. It meant a lot to me to do a lot of things for him. So just really that had me locked in on being successful.
But the leader that Berry has become started early in his career as well, like giving his new head coach his first piece of St. Martin's gear.
I was sitting in the coach's office with the basketball coach, and he had called Harlem in to give him a sweatshirt for whatever reason. And Harlem walks in and he goes to give him that sweatshirt, and Harlem looks at me. He still doesn't really know me. And he says, "Hey, you're the new coach, right?" I said, "Yes, sir." And Harlem tells the basketball coach, "Well, look, why don't you give him that sweatshirt? He doesn't have anything St. Martin's yet." And that's the first piece of St. Martin's apparel that I had of any kind. And that just goes to show you the character and who he was. And that was a 14-year-old kid at the time, right? So
this year we were real close. Those were my guys since freshman year. We've been tight. We've been real close, especially the seniors. Those are my best friends too. All of them that played on the team with us. So being able to play with them was amazing. All 4 years, we've grown as a group.
While his 2,518 total yards and 44 touchdowns might jump out to you, it was a play early in the season on defense against Pearl River that Coach Dysers said was his best moment.
It wasn't easy. The weather was terrible. It was raining, all of that stuff. We couldn't throw the ball. They had 11 in the box, but it felt like 15 in the box. And we just had a tough night offensively. And we finally got some stuff going on. Offense. But the Heisman moments for Harlem would have been what he did on defense. And he played sparingly on defense, but he forced 2 fumbles on the last 2 drives for us to get the ball back and for us to go down and score.
Up, Harlem Berry. I'm told it'd be easier to say what he didn't do than what he did for that football team. Special teams, blocking kicks, interceptions, fumbles. A true teammate.
Congratulations again, Harlem, on being a Warrick Dunn Award finalist. When people say you're the nation's #1 running back coming out of high school, what goes through your mind when you see that?
That's an amazing accomplishment. Like I said, I thank God for that. I put the work in day and night, early mornings too. So just being able to be named the #1 running back was a great feat because I never thought I'd get there. But
Just like Aiden, you came along as far as playing tackle football later on in life, right? I mean, it wasn't until maybe, your freshman or sophomore season that you decided to play?
yeah, my 8th grade year, we played maybe like 3 games due to
Yeah.
COVID, but I didn't really start playing till my freshman year when the coach asked me to come out, Coach Ndusa, and I mean, that's when it just took off from there, so.
Where does your athletic ability come from, do you think?
I give him my dad. My dad's side. He was in a band, but he tells me the stories how him and his partners played park ball, this and that. So I give it to him.
What was it about St. Martin's High School? Because you put, and your teammates, as you talked about how close you are with especially the seniors on that team, you put St. Martin's on the map when it comes to football. What was it? Because especially when you started to have some success your sophomore season, I'm sure there was some other schools that were saying, hey, come play over here, because bigger school, a little bit more of a limelight, but you stuck it out at St. Martin's, which I respect so much about you. But what was it about that school?
Everybody there made it seem like a family. And when I started doing great things, they didn't treat me no different than how they did from the jump. And they asked me to come there, and they saw something in me to come play at the school. So when they did that, I knew they believed in me, and I knew I couldn't leave them. And just everything about that school just screams like you need to be there. So.
Well, I know a lot of people here are glad that you're at LSU. Congratulations once again, and good luck with the Tigers.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Let's hear it for Harlem, who is trading 25 for 22. So look for that number in purple and gold, number 22. Our next Warrick Dunn finalist, it won't be hard to figure out which guy he is. He's number 1, Jonathan Dartez. When you break the state record for total touchdowns, piling up 67 your senior year, most kids would never dream of that kind of finish, even for a 4-year starter at a fantastic program.
We won 14-0, we won the state championship. Everybody did their part, so this year it was basically, a senior's dream.
But Dartez, one of a dozen Screaming Eagle seniors, they're not dreamers, they're doers, did the required work.
He's so easy to support because he is just one of them. He's in the end zone a lot, but when he's in the locker room, he's just another guy that's trying to win the game.
5th grade year, I started at fullback, just running and blocking people, and then I started O-line, and then after that, they're like, we're gonna put him at quarterback for a game, and then after that, I stayed at quarterback for the rest of my life. So
John was coming up through the ranks, 7th and 8th grade, and you heard about him so much. And I laid my eyes on him, and it was special. It was undeniable. But you don't know how that's going to translate in high school. Look, I'd play him at guard right now if I could. There's positions on the field we've set in his entire career. What if he got out there? Cornerback, DB, free safety, outside backer. There's really nothing I would be worried about him not being able to accomplish. He just craves success, and he craves it for the right reasons. He craves it because he wants the guys that he's playing with to enjoy it as much as he does, and when that's what it's about for you, you're kind of willing to do anything.
I would just say my style of play is just like very gritty, very grind, being the person to make the play, but not only make the play, but like show your teammates that you're not scared to get hit, you're not scared to get dirty, just kind of like a dirty player, not like a dirty player, but a person that's going to be in the mess all the time.
And wouldn't you know it, one of the biggest games of the year was in a mess, but wasn't a problem for number 1.
They beat us last year in the semifinals, and they beat us in baseball too, so traveling all the way over there, it started raining again, and to, come up with like 7 touchdowns and 600 yards, it felt pretty good at the end of the day. I had to get it to my receivers too, because they always talk about me running the ball, but if you stop the run, just like Riverside, I can throw it against y'all too. I threw for 250 yards against them. So everyone thinks that they can stop me. Everyone, I know it's kind of cocky, but I know myself. I know that they're not going to stop me.
We say one is one of one. What gets lost in that is that we're talking about athletic ability. He has a ton of it. It's more about the personality, the drive, just the intangibles that when you watch how he goes about his business, it's what you crave, it's what you want out of your players. It's infectious. It made an impact. It's left a legacy, down to our kindergartners, right? Seeing how he went about his business, the humble way that he interacted with his teammates. Those are more the things we're referring to when we say one is one of one, because to keep the humility through that success, that kind of success, there's not a lot of kids that can do that. Credit to his parents because they've raised one heck of a young man.
My mom's always very supportive. Sometimes she could be aggravating on the court, or for basketball, you can hear her screaming. Her and my dad, it's kind of embarrassing.
Everybody on that campus calls him John, and probably everybody in the entire town. Let's bring him up. Number one, Jonathan Dartez. This guy carried a record 47 times in leading his team to the state championship and said he couldn't be tired. They needed to finish the deal.
Congratulations, John, on being a finalist here for the Warrick Dunn Award. What was it like being the face of this Vermilion Catholic program here the last few years?
Oh, it was awesome. Looking back when I was growing up, it was the Leges, it was JT and Drew Lege, and I always wanted to be like them. I always grew up being like them, or wanted to be like them. And actually, JT, he started coaching my 5th grade or 6th grade year. Started coaching me up, so I always looked up to the Leges as QBs, and just to be the face of the program or the face of the team is really awesome.
2022, you lose in the state title game. 2023, you lose in the semifinals, as you mentioned, in the package. But then in 2024, you break through and you win it all. What was that like after coming so close to 2 previous seasons?
Yeah, it's such a relief when especially you lose against that team that you're playing, and just to get the revenge a little bit. It's just a relief, and especially last year, you're so close to it. You're playing in the game and you're thinking about the dome. You're thinking about, when we win, who's buying the hotels and all, that's going along, all week. Everyone's talking about it, and to lose that game last year, it's heartbreaking. So just win it all was pretty awesome.
177 career touchdowns. That's just an amazing number. Do you think about that when you're lying down at night saying, I scored 177 touchdowns?
Not really. I don't really see myself as that kind of person. Yeah. As a 177 touchdown person. I really see myself as just the person that won the state championship, because that's the best award that you can get. What's next for John? Playing at Nichols, playing college, man. Getting a degree. Hopefully we'll see what happens. All right, good luck in Thibodaux. We appreciate your time. Loved watching you play. You're one of my favorite players. Thanks a lot, John. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right.
We're only 3 players in, and we've got 7 more great players to go through. We're going to take a timeout here on the LHSAA Network. Back with more of the Warrick Dunn Awards right after this.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
So it's going to come down to this. Can they do it? Oh no, they missed it! Wait a minute. There's a flag on the play.
Protect what matters most to you and find out the many ways you can benefit. 100% free tuition and fees to all state colleges. Job training in over 150 different career fields, healthcare, pay, and much more. The Louisiana Army National Guard, part-time service with lifelong benefits. Find out more by visiting www.lang-recruiting.com.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
Welcome back into the Warrick Dunn Awards, the 2025 ceremony. We've got guys going to LSU. We've got record breakers, and here comes another one. Running back from Leesville, Xavier Ford.
Running for over 3,000 yards and 50 touchdowns is the mark of a standout career in high school football. Xavier Ford of Leesville rushed, ran, and clawed his way to those numbers in just 13 games. But Ford didn't enter his senior season looking to simply break records.
Coming into this year, I just really wanted to make it the best because it was my senior year. My goals was just to have fun and just continue to do what I've been doing for the past 2 years. Breaking all these records, it really wasn't my goal, but it just happened. Once that first game hit, I had all those yards and everything I did that first game, I just knew the sky was the limit. From those 2 years, I just grew and improved on my skills, and that's how I really got to where I am, breaking those records. You know, it just made me feel proud of myself because I did something nobody really thought could be done since it's been standing for so many years.
You know, one of his greatest characteristics is the way that he elevates everybody around him, and watching the team work together. You know, as the season progressed, we knew that we could accomplish some great things. And so we set a high bar, a high expectation, and to be able to reach it with this group of kids made it special.
Ford's focus is to never allow one player to bring him down.
I really model myself around, you know, like Nick Chubb. That's really my favorite running back, my favorite comparison. Nobody gonna be able to tackle me. I can't get tackled by one person, and you just gotta go kill every play, because I'm coming for you every play. Linebackers, safety, defensive players, they not gonna be able to. They don't want to tackle the whole game. So, you know, I just come at your neck, come at your throat, hard as I can every play.
Ford ended his career with over 8,500 rushing yards and 118 touchdowns. Even more impressive when you consider he played in just 2 games as a freshman.
My freshman year, I wasn't able to play as much as I, would like or wanted to. So really just going throughout my freshman year with only playing in 2 games, probably last second set of games, it kind of just shaped me to want to be better, never go through this feeling ever again. But it also motivated me to, be patient, learn different things, learn different skills, especially from the running back that was in front of me. And just with that experience alone, it just helped me become better, because I just knew I had to be the best at all times.
Coming from a tight-knit community of less than 6,000 people, Ford wants to be an inspiration in Leesville.
Ooh, my biggest fan throughout my career? My biggest fan, I would say my mom. She was definitely my biggest fan because, that's my mom. But besides my mom, the community, man, the community's so strong here. It's honestly like, a lot of older people look up to me. Mr. McNutt, that's my dog. That's my biggest fan. He come to every single game, no matter if it's home or away. And, just the little kids looking up to me. Them my biggest fans, too.
Character. I'll say this again. What you see on the film, he's 10 times better of a person than he is as a football player, and that's his strength, is his character. His mom and dad have done a phenomenal job raising him. He understands what's important, and he brings everybody, he elevates everybody around him, whether he's in a room for 5 minutes or 24 hours or for 4 years, he elevates everybody around him. He was a joy to coach. He was a joy to have in the school building. I had the pleasure of teaching Mom and coaching Dad, And to be a part of, his life in that manner, knowing him since, the day that he was born is something special.
Let's hear it for Xavier Ford. Gotta love that Wampus Cat background. Xavier couldn't be with us tonight, but Coach Causey will come up and accept his award and talk with Jeff.
Thanks for being with us tonight, Coach. If you could, talk about Xavier's work ethic, because he really was a workhorse for you, carried the ball so much this past season. How much effort did he put into it in the preseason, offseason, and even during the season?
He never stopped working. That came from a home environment where, that excellence was the standard and it was an expectation. And so he brought that in everything that he did. And so, he was always working. And when he thought about not working, his dad made sure that thought didn't last very long, and he was continued to work. And that's just kind of the attitude that he brought to the table, and everything that he did is that even what we did was not enough, that he would go keep doing more and more and more and ask his teammates, hey, come with me. Come with me, and it would be one or two that would go with him, and then three or four. The next thing you know, we would have, after practice on the backside of the hill, we would have 15 or 20 kids doing extra work, talking about how much work that Xavier puts in. And so he led by example.
Obviously, when you think about Leesville and you think about running backs, you think about Cecil Collins, how does that change now because of what Xavier did during his time there?
That just adds another name to the list.
Yeah.
We're running back high, state of Louisiana, when you look at the guys that have come through the program long before I was there that were phenomenal running backs. And it's just, it's all, and being an all sometimes of being at a school and the head coach at a school that had that type of talent, being coached by the phenomenal men that have come before me, and just add another name to that list, So now the standard, he has passed his torch to the next young man that's going to come through our program.
I know during the recruiting process, there was some frustration, feeling like some schools were overlooking this kid, but he ends up at Minnesota. How excited is he? How excited is he to have a chance to play for the Golden Gophers and head coach PJ Fleck there, and the relationship he's already been able to build, even though Minnesota's thousands of miles away?
God has a plan for all of us, and everything happens on his time. And so that is Minnesota's where he's supposed to be. And that was his approach that he took to the recruiting aspect of it, that God has a plan for me. Everybody else missed on me, but God has a plan for me. And that's where he wants to be, because that's where, that's who wanted him, and it just kind of lined up. And he had such a phenomenal approach and the mentality to it that, Coach, I'm not worried about it. God has a plan, and he's ecstatic about being there. Coaching for a guy, he says, Coach, it's a lot like our program that we have here. And he said he felt at home in Minnesota.
That's great. That's great. Thanks a lot for developing such a great young man, and good luck, continued success at Leesville.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
So for 17 years, the Warrick Dunn Award, Player of the Year, has been a senior-only award. This year, we made the decision because some players in the past may have had a great junior year, weren't eligible, and then got hurt, and maybe couldn't have that season their senior year. We opened it up to juniors and seniors, and wouldn't you know it, 9 of the 10 finalists are seniors. But one is a junior, and you're about to meet him, John Johnson III from Edna Carr, their quarterback.
Edna Carr quarterback John Johnson III, the only junior to be named a finalist for the Warrick Dunn Award. The explosive signal caller compares his game to a recently drafted quarterback.
On the college level, I model myself after probably Cam Ward. I feel like I play more of a fast pace. I push the tempo on my team. I lead all type of ways, on the field, off the field.
And being a quarterback for the Cougars, not an easy task when you look at the names who preceded you, but throw the name Hollywood in there, the nickname given to Johnson when he was young.
very deserving of everything he gets. He works for everything he gets. Nothing is given to him. We're hard on all of our players, but because of the relationship that I have with him, I've been harder on him than anyone else that I've coached. And we've coached some phenomenal players, Coach Bryce and myself. Coach Bryce has coached cats at quarterback like Speed and Noel and Alden Clark and Leonard Kelly and A.J. Samuel and Munchie Lego. We coached Tonka George here at my other place I was at for a little while. John was around Keaton Thompson, running up for National Player of the Gatorade National Player of the Year, stuff like that.
That came from my dad. He gave me that nickname. I was born in California, so he said I was going to be a star, so he named me Hollywood.
Johnson leading the Cougars back to the title game with a stellar year, especially after heartbreaks in his sophomore and freshman season, leading to his moment first against Catholic in the semifinal, then Alexandria in the Dome.
Losing my sophomore year in the semifinals made me mature a lot, made me have to learn how to grind hard, the hardest I ever did, to not want to, feel the pain again. So I feel like that's the biggest. Semifinal game against Catholic, when I ran to get the first down to seal the game, that was a big moment for me.
The game against Catholic, when we were in a dogfight at halftime, and at halftime we talked to them about, some things not going right, playing against another great program, and look, you got to find a way.
Hollywood finished with 4,299 yards and 46 scores this past year. An incredible performance to top it all off, despite what Johnson was afflicted with.
And we don't make excuses, right? Like, it would have been easy if after that was over and they were on the stage with Coach Bryce to say, yeah, he had a few turnovers that's very uncharacteristic, but if we were a program that was about making excuses, we would have said, well, the night before he was in the emergency room all night long because he had an allergic reaction, right? And he played the game with his face swollen and he barely could see out of one of his eyes, right? But we don't make excuses here, so we didn't even talk about that as a program. Nobody even knew what was going on because that card is no excuses, just results.
Very, very big impact. Without him, I probably wouldn't be here. He taught me everything I knew. That's probably the biggest impact that anybody ever had in my life.
Let's bring him up. John Johnson III, Edna Carr.
Congratulations, John. Talking with Coach Bryce Brown before I ended up calling the game in the state championship game, he talked about your preparation level is just off the charts, is how he described it. Where did that come from as far as someone that really would be the first one in, last guy to leave? You would get there early in the morning, go over the game plan with whether your dad or your coach, Coach Brown. Where did that all come from?
I gotta say it come from my dad. I've been around football my whole life because of him. And I watched great quarterbacks above me before, so I just follow in their footsteps.
In the piece there that Spencer did, he talked about all the great quarterbacks that came before you there at Edna Carr. I mean, it's quarterback you there at Edna Carr. There's been so many good ones. So what's the pressure like trying to follow in all those great footsteps the other guys left in front of you?
I wouldn't say it's pressure because I use it. I use the pressure, and it motivates me to drive and go harder to be the best that I could.
Winning that state championship game, a bit of a drought as far as when it comes to Edna Carr. What was it like to break through and have such a huge performance in that game?
It was a great feeling, knowing my brothers had my back and we did it together. We faced adversity my sophomore year when we lost, and like I said, didn't want to feel that pain again. So we grinded, stick together, and we finished.
And I would imagine the preparation is well underway for a repeat?
Of course.
Well, congratulations, John, and continued success, and look forward to seeing you back in the Dome next year.
Thank you.
You heard those numbers. Imagine what he could do next year, right? Get out a couple of calculators just to keep up. All right, we're halfway through, but we're not done with this segment of the show because we have another superstar in purple and gold. He's a running back for Ash, JT Lindsay. The words are hard to find fully explaining what JT Lindsay meant to the Trojans this season. But numbers like 2,724 total yards, 37 touchdowns, got LSU's attention, and his future looks bright.
I describe my style of play almost like Chris Johnson. He played for the Titans. Me and him, like, I see eye with him. I feel like that's how I base my game off of.
A lot of people see his talent, and he's certainly talented, but just watching the journey, it hadn't always been easy for him. You'd have these years that he's had, really the past 2 seasons, but especially his senior season was just incredible. And, people just think that it comes easy, and they don't, know the struggle and the work ethic and the day in and day out, grind that sometimes life is. He just kept showing up through disappointments as young in his career, wanting more. It was really fun to watch. I mean, I'm sure there's been incredible seasons in the history of the state. I certainly think some of the things that he did this year are up there with some of the great names.
Man, this season by far my favorite. Like, man, all the hype, the atmosphere, the games, the fans, the coaches, and the team is like almost like a little family.
224 yards and 4 scores in one playoff game, 252 on 41 carries in another, helped his football family reach the promised land. But we probably need to credit someone else, too.
Mom's poured a lot into him, held him to very high standards.
Oh, yeah, she don't play around. Everybody know my mom. They love her to death, but she don't play around, especially when it comes to school and on the football field. Like, I can't have no low B, C. That's a no-go right there. She don't let that slide. But she on me more than my coach is what she should be. I really like that because she made me to the person I am right now. To respectful young man, pick up behind yourself, leave better than you found it. Other things of that nature, what everybody should do, but she makes sure I do.
Felt like the better the competition, the better he played, and I do think that is, a sign of a competitor. I've heard it described as competitive greatness, being at your best when your best is required. It's one thing to be at your best against inferior opponents or people that you're better than, where you're able to get by with just being talented, but when a lot of the intangibles of toughness and work ethic and understanding were required, I thought that he was at his best in the most challenging moments. You could see the ability, the top end speed that when he gets loose, not many people are going to catch him.
Hopefully going to the NFL, that's what my dream is. Me and my mom talk about it every day.
Let's hear it for JT Lindsay. Where's number 6? He's quick, and here he is, already up on the stage.
There you go. Congratulations on being a finalist for the Warrick Dunn Award. And for you at Ash, success didn't come right away. You had to wait your turn for your chance to be the main running back for the Trojans. What did you do during that time to prepare yourself for the moment when you did have that opportunity?
Listen to Coach Bob and just put my head down and work. That's the only thing that you can do to become a better running back.
Well, I know you talked about your mother there in that piece, but just give us an idea of just how she has just molded you to be the person you are today.
I mean, where can I start? Like everything. Like she'll pop up at a random practice, make sure I'm on task, make sure I'm not messing up, goofing around in the back. Like she really be on me.
What was this season like? Because I know you had high expectations going into this year, but you played in such a difficult district and you had such a difficult schedule. Nobody thought you guys would go undefeated in a regular season. But what was that like to run the table like that?
It was amazing. Like it was a little kid dream, doing everything that you wish you could do, especially with a family and a community that we did. Like it was amazing.
And so many people in Alexandria and the surrounding area, the Senla area, they look at you as a role model. When you think about that, what goes through your mind?
Oh, it's amazing because I looked at the people like the same way, but like other people when they had like rankings and stars, they'd be kind of cocky, I'm like talking to little kids. I embrace it, I enjoy it because I was them when I was little.
Well, JT, thanks a lot. We appreciate it. Congratulations, and look forward to you and Harlem and Aiden and all these other guys playing at LSU. It's going to be fantastic watching you run the football in Tiger Stadium.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, we're on the downside of our 10 finalists. We will take a timeout right here in Baton Rouge on the LHSAA Network and back with more of the Warrick Dunn Awards.
Protect what matters most to you and find out the many ways you can benefit. 100% free tuition and fees to all state colleges. Job training in over 150 different career fields, healthcare, pay, and much more. The Louisiana Army National Guard, part-time service with lifelong benefits. Find out more by visiting www.lang-recruiting.com.
If you want to break the rock, you need to make yourself indestructible. If you want to play between the hedges, you need to work out there, up there, down there, everywhere. If you want to reach the win bar, you need to lose sleep, lose count. You need to play every game like you got nothing to lose.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
The LHSAA Network presents the 2025 Warrick Dunn Awards, brought to you by Coca-Cola, Real Magic. Big Game Football Factory, 100% focused on football. Gold Star Trophies, quality products since 1973.
And welcome back to the Warrick Dunn Awards. Steve Schneider here on the LHSAA Network. This year's finalists, there are 4 quarterbacks, there are 4 running backs, and there's 2 defenders, right? We already met Aiden Anding. The next defender you're about to meet, from Central High, DK Maize.
One of the best defensive ends in Louisiana, DK Maize wasn't on the radar at Central when David Semino was hired late in 2022. Maize's relentless work ethic caught the coach's eye after summer workouts.
My sophomore year, I really didn't see the field as much. I played only on special teams, and I took that as motivation. You know, people thought I couldn't do it, or I couldn't be this guy, or I was just tall for nothing. And, you know, I used that as motivation for me. And, you know, most people let them discourage them, but for me, it put some gas in the tank for me, and everything just came in like all at once, and like it was just it just felt unrealistic. So I was thanking God, but then at the same time, you know, I'm just glad that I took the motivation and I didn't get discouraged and I kept going.
DK was really a relative unknown. I mean, he was coming off a sophomore year that he played some football for Central, but he wasn't a full-time starter. And, you know, he really didn't jump out at you at first glance, which is crazy. But he put about 25 pounds on that offseason and just worked his butt off and really turned himself into a dominant player his junior year.
Maize and his twin brother KD helped raise the fortunes of Central football, leading the Wildcats to their first state championship since the 1960s. That moment, accomplished together as a team, will forever stand out to DK.
It was a crazy season, but what I'm gonna remember most when we played Ruston in the Dome and we won 42-0. It was unreal. Just for us being in the Dome and the Saint Stadium, watching, you know, them score 0 points and us having 42 points on the board, it was just so unrealistic. And just the season we had and the brotherhood and the leadership we had with that team, you know, it just unmarkable.
The magical night that we had in the state championship game, and you know, his scoop and score was huge, you know, and just the way that he played down in the trenches against a heck of an O-line of Ruston, you know, so he always showed up in the big moments, man, and that's what great players do. You know, I've heard it said, you know, great players make big plays in big games at the right moments, and certainly he was that guy for us.
Maize is a two-way player for Central, but he never imagined he'd be scoring in the Superdome during the Prep Classic.
I played offense and defense. I played tight end and defensive end. So I really played the line since I was a little kid. I mean, like me scoring all season long was one of my top priorities, and I know KD did it, so I know I had to do it too. So when I scored in Dome, it just felt like I was just amazed, like wow. Cause I've been trying to get it all season, but I didn't. And then when I went to tight end, I was surprised because I didn't really go at tight end and go off a route. So that was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And even though I got double team, got the PI, but it still felt nice knowing I went off for a route.
Maize credits Coach Semino and the Central staff for pushing him to new heights.
I mean, you got to buy into the program, so like it's just one person. The whole team got to buy into it for something to work. So he mentioned that a lot. I feel like Coach Semino played a very big part in my role, and Coach Kemp. You know, all the coaches, but Coach Semino, he seen the potential I had. He actually like built time. You know, spent time with me. You know, he had like I went to his house, like bonding, and like we just built a connection. As soon as he came, matter of fact, I just feel like the week or two after, I had a strong connection with him, and you know, he just was patient with me and let me build, and then I ended up being the person I am today.
It starts with relationships, you know, and DK is one of those guys that you can trust. And we had to establish trust, you know, with our coaching staff, and then they had to establish trust with us, obviously. But DK was a guy that you never had to look around and see, you know, was he getting that last rep, or, you know, was he going deep enough on his squats, or was he drinking the nutrition that we were giving him, you know, or eating the nutrition products that we were giving him, stuff like that. He was a guy that was, you know, going to find that extra inch and that extra edge to make sure that he developed himself into the best player he could be.
Let's bring up the biggest of our finalists, DK. He was one of a handful of guys who showed up to play golf this afternoon with Warrick, and he's hitting some balls, and then he tells me, well, I went the whole year with a sore shoulder. If he was not sore, how would he do, right?
Congratulations, DK, on being a Warrick Dunn Award finalist. Tell us about this season at Central, because you guys, everybody was thinking this could be a good team, but to make the run that you did in the playoffs and then win in the Dome and win by the decisiveness that you ended up winning that game, what was that like?
The whole season felt unreal, but you know, we like the team. We knew we had to have some leaders, and all the seniors we stepped up, and so we knew we can do it. We've been saying it since freshman year. This class of 2025 is special, and we can do it, and we did it.
It was so fun over the last couple of years watching your games with you and your twin brother, Katie. What is your relationship like between you two guys? Because it's the synergy on the field is amazing.
Right. I mean, me knowing I got Katie on the field with me is just unbelievable. Like, if he on that side, I'm on this side, we know we're going to make something shake. And we just had competition on the field with each other, like, all right, I'm get this tackle, you get the next play, or who's finna make this tackle. So it's just competition when we on the field together, and the connection we got.
Yeah, it's amazing. Defensively for Central, you guys were just so good. What was it about that unit that made them so special?
It was just the whole all 11. We all bought in, and Coach Kemp, you know, he stayed up. I ain't gonna lie, on Thursdays, Coach Kemp probably stayed up all night watching film. So the way he scripted, it was really all Coach Kemp and how he scripted all the offense we played and defense he had for us.
That's great. Now you're off to Houston, and so tell us about just what you're expecting being with the Cougars, and just what you think the future brings for you.
I'm gonna try to start my freshman year in Houston. and hopefully I'll get drafted in the next 3-4 years, wherever God take me.
Well, that's great. That's great. It's been fun watching you. Congratulations. I know the folks in Central are going to miss watching you play, but do great things at Houston. We'll all be watching. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, so now we'll go right back to the offensive side of the ball. Another state champion. The final of our 4 running backs, certainly not the least, Archbishop Shaw, Jasper Parker. Shaw Eagles star Jasper Parker is moving on to Michigan this summer, but the move he made from Jesuit back to the West Bank as a sophomore, well, it's hard to tell if that was more monumental for the school or for this senior leader whose infectious personality has apparently been on display since he was 6 years old.
I was the kid that just loved football. I wasn't worried about a lot of stuff, about all the looking cool stuff. I'd come to practice like right after school, like be there 2 hours early, just there like talking to all the like staff members and stuff, but I just couldn't wait to get on the field.
I know God smiled on me the day that Jasper Parker walked through those doors to transfer, because I knew who he was because he was a West Bank kid. He added to an already really good team. You know, he was probably the missing piece.
Just keeping God with me at all times. Through a lot of experience, I transferred, and Coach Hake he was nothing but genuine to me the entire time. I mean, the day I met him, he's the same guy I talk to every day to day. So you just got to be grateful for people that's going to be super honest with you and want your best interests.
One of my former quarterbacks coached him on the playground. So I caught a few of my buddies, and they were like, Coach, he was a monster on the playground. And he was kind of being humble, because they tell me he was probably as good as linebacker, he wasn't running back, Coach. Jasper was violent on the playground, violent.
His 28 touchdowns and 1,900 yards were impressive. Plus the fact this single back carried 3 times for every time Shaw's 4 receivers combined to catch just 1 pass. But the way he carried that load on good days and bad really left an impression.
He was all in on everything. He blocked, he caught passes. He was the first one in the weight room. He did everything, you know, the way you want a kid to do it. I kept thinking, wait, there's a flaw somewhere. I just got to find it. You know, what's wrong, you know? But it never was. He just got better and better. He'd be congratulating the offensive lineman after he made a good run. You know, he'd be in the huddle, man, had a way to block. You know, you don't see that a lot. You know, he was telling the quarterback, man, you know, good read, you know, the receiver, had a way to, you know, just always positive.
The whole entire O-line, I can't thank those guys enough. I mean, no matter what happened in the game, they always knew that it was just me and them that was going to be the determinant factor.
And Tierney says they teamed up to give the Eagles not 1, not 2, but 3 Warrick Dunn moments this season.
Lafayette Christian, he broke Shaw's single-game rushing record, which had stood since the school opened. He had 300-something yards. And the more I gave it to him, the better he ran. And every time he'd come out, I was like, man, you all right? Coach, I'm all right. And I never knew he was making all these great runs against a really good team. Somebody told me, you know, he had 340 yards. I said, wait, what? So that was a game moment. Now, he said the long run in the state championship game, which was huge, because it gave us our first lead. Now it's a 1-possession game again, and we get the ball back with 2.5 minutes, and we got to get a first down. We got 3rd and 4, and we give it to him. And I'm telling you, he got hit 5 times. He broke 5 tackles and gained 5 yards and the first down, and that sealed the game.
Let's bring him up, the state champion and Shaw Eagle, Jasper Parker.
Congratulations again, Jasper, on being a finalist for the Warrick Dunn Award. What was it like to lead Shaw to its first state championship since 1987?
It was just amazing, just knowing what Shaw was before I entered those doors. hearing about all the amazing players that played before me, and hearing the legacy of Coach Hake Tierney just meant so much, just being under his leadership and being able to win a state championship, something that hasn't been done in, I mean, I wasn't born, a lot of people I know wasn't born, so it was just a great honor and a great deal to be able to serve the school as well as we did as a team.
What was it like playing for a legendary coach like Hake Tierney? A player's dream. I mean, like I said in the video, the man you can talk to today is the man I talked to when I walked through those doors. He's going to take you in like you're his kid. I mean, he's an amazing role model and an amazing coach and an amazing person. So I treat it as a mentor. I learned so much from him. I learned so much about football, and I just learned so much about being a young man that I wouldn't exchange for anything in the world. We saw a couple of highlights on that 62-yard touchdown run that gave you guys the lead in the state championship game. What did you see on that play? What was going through your mind as it was developing?
Those guys were extremely tough, but I knew I was just one play away from making a whole difference in the game. So I saw the kind of build up, and that's probably my favorite run play, GT counter, guard tackle. So when I saw it open up, it was just like, man, I knew I was going to score when I saw the tackle get through the hole. So when I saw him part, that was my cue to lose the patience and use the speed that God gave me. So just being able to score that play, it was just surreal.
You and your teammate Jacob Washington heading to Michigan. Talk about first your relationship with Jacob, and because both of you guys came over the Shaw, I think, at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. We played some Little League ball together, began being friends, really close friends around 8th grade at Jesuit. And we kind of went through our high school years together. Around our sophomore year, we said, man, we're going to Coach Hake Tierney. So went to Shaw together. And I talk to him every day. I work out with him every day. And he's coming up to college with me also. So to say we went from Jesuit to Shaw, and now we're going up to Michigan, it just means a lot to me that I got somebody I can call a best friend coming up with me.
That's awesome. Congratulations once again. Good luck at Michigan. We'll be rooting for you. We appreciate it. It was fun watching you. That great performance in the state championship game. Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir.
Are we on a roll or what? State champion, and how about another state champion? First time I saw this guy in person, right in front of me, two guys on a rival team planted him in the ground. He had to be helped off and limped off. I'm like, well, we won't see him again. He came back in the game, led a winning go-ahead touchdown drive, and then intercepted the ball to seal the game. You know him as one name, Diesel Solari, Cecilia Bulldogs.
Diesel Solari, the Cecilia Do-It-All Man. Starring on offense, defense, and even special teams, the senior left no doubt on his legacy with the Bulldogs by bringing home a state championship, despite an early season injury.
Man, my play style is all about being different, doing everything I can do for the team. That's mine. And I used to work on little things when I was younger, so I could have, developed up in that and, come big on that. So I don't gotta get ready for the little things, and I already got them down pat.
He impacts every aspect of the game. Offense, defense, special teams, he plays a big role in all of it. When you have a special kid like that, obviously, obviously for the team, you don't want to lose him, but also you don't want to see someone like that who has that kind of ability his senior year have to miss some games and kind of go through some of those hard times. I think it made Diesel stronger and more hungry, and kind of when he came back, he was a man possessed.
Solari has been a workaholic since an early age. Coach Skanes recounting the first time he met his future quarterback, having to fuss at him for coming to workouts.
I met him in junior high, and our first impression was I had to fuss at him, but I did not realize it was during COVID, and he was skipping class at the junior high, because the junior high is like a 5-minute walk from, and he skipped class to make our workouts. But once I realized that he was he was skipping one class to come and get ours in, I had to fuss at him a little bit. But it just showed you the determination and that he wanted to be part of it.
Dedication, to be real. I want everybody to see. I got kids looking up to him in the stands like, oh, he doing both, full speed every time. So that shows the kids like, you can do anything possible. None is possible. You know, so I just wanted to show the kids that. You know, some kids really tell me I want to be like you, but I tell them be better. Yeah, it would be way better than me, but that's a big eye-opener because I really got people looking up to me.
Tough to pick a moment that stands out, especially when Solari does special things with the ball every week, but one play stood out to the Bulldogs as signal caller.
I say when I threw the ball up and Ellis caught it. That's the Heisman. I feel like we both need the Heisman trophy for them. But they had a lot of outstanding players on our for the state championship game. The whole team really. But that would be my Heisman player right there.
There's not a particular time, but I'll tell you there's a particular look that he gets, and you can just tell by looking at him that, all right, well, we're giving him the ball. But it's a look that says he's not going to get tackled. He's not letting anybody tackle him. And every time he's gotten that look, he's held true to it. So he's that kind of player. He has something special on the inside of him. You know, he's not a big kid, but he has a lot of God-given talent. But also with that, he has some will. And you combine that with the hard worker that he is, and you get what he put out in the field this year.
All right, let's bring him up, the Diesel.
Congratulations, Diesel, on being a finalist for the Warrick Dunn Award. Your sophomore year, you tore your ACL, correct? What was that like for you, and how did that motivate you or get your determination even higher to become a great player?
It's really because, everybody told me I wasn't going to be the same Diesel. So I had to prove them wrong. So that made me actually work harder than I was working them before.
Now, Diesel, is that your given name or is that a nickname?
Nah, that's my given name.
It couldn't fit a better person than you. I mean, quarterback wasn't what you were expected to be at Cecilia, right? How did that all work out?
Our quarterback my freshman year got hurt. But I played quarterback in junior high.
Okay.
So they moved me to quarterback. And I just balled up.
Now, Dennis Gaines, he didn't say that your head coach at Cecilia, didn't say it there, but he told me that pound for pound, you're the best kid he's ever coached. What kind of hearing that compliment, what does that make you think?
Blessed, because we had a lot of good players that came through Cecilia, from Raymond, Jamaican. We had a lot. To say that I'm the best pound for pound player that he coached, that's golden right there.
Now, you had a lot of talent around you. I mean, we saw the touchdown pass to Ellis Stewart, which I think is one of the great touchdown passes in LHSAA prep history, and then Braylon Calais and just some of the other guys that you had on that team. What was it like playing? Because your skill position players, it was just phenomenal. Once you guys got it all rocking and rolling, especially in the postseason.
It was just easy for us. We knew our skill. Ellis, a jump ball player, so just throw the ball up to him. Braylon, he like a monster truck. Nobody can tackle him.
Yeah.
And for one, Brent Gordon.
Yeah.
That's our hitter right there. Anything we need, he got it.
Yeah. And winning a state title at Cecilia, just capping off your high school career, you couldn't do it any better, right?
Oh, no, sir.
Well, tell us what's next for Diesel.
I'm going to college, Kansas, Coffeyville.
Yep.
Then, after that, D1. NFL.
There you go. Keep going, Diesel. We appreciate it. So fun watching you. Oh, yeah. Thanks a lot. Congratulations once again.
I appreciate it.
You heard it here first. I wouldn't doubt it. All right, we've still got a lot to come. When we come back from this commercial break, we'll meet the last finalist of our 10. Plus, we've got 2 new coaching awards to tell you about. Stay right there on the LHSAA Network.
Protect what matters most to you and find out the many ways you can benefit. 100% free tuition and fees to all state colleges. Job training in over 150 different career fields, healthcare, pay, and much more. The Louisiana Army National Guard. Part-time service with lifelong benefits. Find out more by visiting www.lang-recruiting.com.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
And welcome back to the 2025 Warrick Dunn Awards program. We've met 9 finalists, and now we get to meet number 10. And when I think back to us launching the Friday Night in the Boot show, every Friday night, these astronomical scores, especially from North Louisiana, and a big part of that, airline quarterback Ben Taylor.
In a state known for producing more football players per capita than any other, Airline's Ben Taylor finished with the second most passing yards all time, 12,374, and the third most touchdown passes with 135. But the Bossier City native's career didn't start at quarterback.
I started when I was 5 years old, and I actually started at running back. And then our quarterback, because I was like the fastest on the team back then, and our quarterback, he couldn't remember any type of plays, so they moved me to quarterback and just let me run the ball. And so that's just kind of where it all began. When I was back in Little League between seasons, I would cry to my dad and tell him I wanted to quit. So I mean, he always told me to keep going, and that's where I am now, going to play college football. So I'm definitely glad I didn't quit. But yeah, he's helped me a lot.
This is 100% the best quarterback, and I'll tell you why. You know, when I got here, Ben had started his freshman year. He's 14, 15 years old, and it was rough. You know, he had a hard freshman year, and the first 2 or 3 games of his sophomore year when I was here was rough. And a lot of times, you know, that would probably, you know, sink the ship for most kids. You know, he went on to recover from, like he said, the first time we played North. So I think he threw 5 interceptions his sophomore year against North DeSoto, and I think he finished that year throwing for 3,000 yards. And, you know, he continued to build on that and build on that.
In 2024, Taylor threw for 4,357 yards and led the state with 47 touchdowns. He credits his coach and teammates for the Vikings' prolific attack.
Yeah, I mean, we had a great offense, and it all starts with the head coach, and he came in my sophomore year and just completely turned the program around. And I'm a heavy passing quarterback, and that's what I like to do. And he came in here, and the offense that he runs, it just fit me perfectly. And we had some crazy athletes around me, both my receivers, Jarvis and Kenny, so we were able to just put up some crazy numbers.
When you compete against those guys, you know, week in and week out, it's almost impossible to put up the kind of numbers that he did throughout, you know, 3 years here. So I mean, I think that's, you know, phenomenal in itself. to see the kind of competition. This wasn't some weak schedule that we played, and we would go play somebody and he could throw for 600 or 700 yards. He's doing this stuff against some of the best teams in the state.
Taylor knows playing at the next level provides a platform to make change.
I've grown up, my dad's favorite player was probably Tim Tebow, and he's always taught me a lot about him, just being a Christian and all that, and the way he has started his foundation and all that, that's all through football. So, I've always told God, if you take me to, college to be big and all that, have a platform for myself, then I'll make you known. And so definitely for sure, Tim Tebow is just a great example of how he used football as his platform for God, and that's definitely what I want to try to do.
See, I was a big Warrick Dunn fan growing up. Him being from Louisiana, going to Florida State. I remember, Ben mentioned Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow was a great player too, but man, Warrick Dunn was explosive, and he was a great player on the field. But I think off the field, I want to say that his mom was killed in the line of duty, and so a lot of the stuff that he does to give it back to the community and stuff like that. I think we kind of preach the same things around here. We try to spend as much time as we can with the youth and do stuff like that. So I think when you look at the people they are, I think Warrick Dunn and Ben have a lot in common. With the kind heart that they have and the giving back.
Up here, Big Ben.
Yeah, Steve is right about that. I remember all during the course of the season, as I was driving home from my games and listening to scores and hearing the numbers that Airline was putting up. How fun was that offense this year when you're scoring 40, 50, 60, 40 on the low point, 60 points a game?
It's awesome. We have such a good head coach. We just have such an explosive offense and so many weapons. And it's fun, especially for the fan base. They're cheering every few minutes because we're scoring so much. And I love how much we get to pass the ball. We move the ball fast. And, when defense can get them off the field and give us the ball, we usually win games. They can get about 2 or 3 stops per game. That was usually it for us, and the offense did the rest.
And you had some great wide receivers, Jarvis Davis, right. Kenny Darby. Tell me about those two guys and the connection you have with them.
They're absolute dogs. They've never been able to be stopped. Jarvis, I grew up playing football with him. I've known him for years and years and years. And Kenny, I remember looking at Kenny when he was a freshman saying, that dude's not going to – he's good, but he's good for a freshman. He's not going to be able to do anything next year. But, LSU commit right now. So that says it all about him, and they're just 2 great receivers, 2 great personalities, and great people.
In the package that Garrett did there, he talked about your struggles when you first got to Airline, and I was reading a story about your sophomore season. You got a chance to play, and back-to-back drives you threw interceptions. How did that tough moment drive you to become one of the top quarterbacks, if not the top quarterback in the state this year?
Yeah, my freshman year, I think I threw more interceptions than touchdowns. So, that started out rough. Coach Scoggin got here, and we lost the first 3 games, and they were rough. The North Dakota game was rough. And then we went on to win district. So, that they really losing, I'd say, it helps you build character and kind of shaped our whole entire team, especially me. It helps me become more of a leader. And as I got older, just able to keep my head straight whenever we're down and all that, and put up some points still. Now heading to Northwestern State, we wish you the best of luck in Natchitoches and build a winner there for the Demons. I know you're off to doing great things in college. We appreciate it. It was fun watching you, and you built something there at Airline that I think they're going to be able to build on. Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.
All right, so there you have the 10 finalists. Let's give a round of applause for all these fantastic players, all winners, no matter who takes home the trophy tonight. We've also got a couple of new awards this year, some coaching awards. And one of them that's new recognizes the coaches that are unsung heroes. Not only are they doing X's and O's and teaching the game of football and fundamentals, but they go that extra mile in terms of teaching kids, mentoring them, genuinely be involved in every aspect of their lives. And there was a man who sat right down here for years and years at Warrick's table named Choo Choo. This award, this night, is for the man who made a difference in Warrick Dunn's life.
Malin Brooks mentored so many young players and track stars just like Warrick Dunn while working with the South Baton Rouge Rams, not just on the field, but off the field as well. The McKinley Panthers and Grambling Tigers running back had a huge impact on the lives of so many. The Choo Choo Award winner is South Plaquemines head coach Lyle Feet, a standout for the Hurricanes in both their titles in 2007 and 2008. Feet later returned home after his college career at LA Tech to coach the Hurricanes.
Right after I finished my tenure at Louisiana Tech University, I started working offshore. During my time off, I would come back and I would, help the program. And when I came back, I realized, hey, look, this ain't the same culture that I've once built. As a player, I realized, hey, look, they've had multiple coaches come in and out the program. And I went to school for finance. I never ever thought I was going to be a teacher. Never ever thought I was going to be a coach, a bus driver, and everything else that I, do. The kids can have somebody from home that understands the lifestyle that they're in, the landscape, how much football means, not only to the kids, but to the community, to the school. Like I said, I just try and be a vessel and let the kids know, hey, look, home will always be home. You can leave, you can venture out and go see the world, but, you can always still come home and give back. And, that's what it's all about for me now. It's giving back, not only to the kids, but back to the game. I know how much it helped foster me and my brothers. It gave us an outlet where you, in a community that lack resources and things to do, you need something to kind of hold on to. So I try and use football as an outlet for these kids to escape what they might be facing outside these school walls.
The message from this senior group overwhelmingly positive about their head coach.
I mean, it felt great that he decided to come here with us, and it's not pretty days every day. So him dealing with that, getting older in age and still showing he loves us, especially doing it where he from. So it's amazing. We're glad that he here. Glad that he going back into I think it's his 8th year, 9th year. Hopefully he going back to back. He go back to back, he solidified, he a legend.
It's just his standards is high, very high from him winning championships, how he was raised, especially coming, we call it down the road. Your parents real strict on you, how they raise you. So him being, especially a father figure to so many kids and his mentality of so many things is great. So once he put his thinking into us, we think like him, we play like him, that's why we accomplish so much. And him just being who he is just no better coach you could get.
Coach Lyle, he really was stuck with us throughout thick and thin. Coach Lyle been there since day one. And he really showed us what it be to be a good player, a good team player. Man, he provided us for life, he set us for life.
Really and truly from Monday to Sunday, he lived and breathed it really, especially during the championship game. We watched film from the time we woke up to the time to go to sleep. He was just making sure we was prepared.
Feet embodies what it means to give back to your community and alma mater. The Hurricanes winning their first title since Feet was a player.
But the more I watch the film and, over the past few months, letting it kind of resonate and just kind of sit down and reflect, it feels real now. Like I said, I'm just blessed and honored after all this time, to actually see the fruits of our labor, actually come to fruition. So, I'm glad.
The emotion we saw on that sideline when they won that state championship spoke volumes. The Malin Choo Choo Brooks Award to Lyle Feet. Come on up, Coach.
Now, you didn't know you were going to win this award tonight, did you?
No, sir.
Spencer did a great job on that piece, looking at what you've been able to accomplish there at South Plaquemines. How glad are you now that you're no longer working offshore? You're back where God wanted you to be, and you're leading these kids, and you guys just went through a special season.
It's been a long 10 years. So, being able to share the stage, of course, with Warrick Dunn and LHSAA and all these great players, I never thought that, I would have actually won a state championship. And it just go to show you, you can't, good things or great things take time. Sometimes you can't just, poof, it'll be here. So, it's been a long 10 years. We put in a lot of hard work, went into it. So I'm just blessed, to be in this, to be in this situation and had that opportunity.
Cyril Crutchfield was your head coach in 07 and 08 when you guys went back-to-back winning state championships. What kind of lessons did he teach you that you are now teaching these young men?
Perseverance, hard work, and dedication, pays off. I still talk to him at least twice a week. We have a great relationship. I was able to coach against him this year, and we was able to beat them. So beating them and also winning the state championship was, perfect. But, I thank him for everything. I grew up in a single-parent home, so he was, extension, almost like a father figure to me as well. And so a lot of stuff that he instilled in me is some of the stuff that I'm trying to instill in, the kids that's, at the school and within the community.
South Plaquemines had some down years between that 08 championship to winning it this year. What makes that school such a special place, and now how much more excitement there is for Friday night football in South Plaquemines?
Before I came back to South Plaquemines, they went through a high coaching turnover. They had like 5 coaches within 7 years. So I've been the longest tenure coach in South Plaquemines history. And since I've been a head coach, we always played, I would say, up in class, where we were playing against big 2A, 3A schools, even though we had the size, of 1A numbers. So this was our first year playing Division IV, where you have a lot of kids going both ways, playing Ironman ball. So a lot of our kids were used to doing that, and they would always tell me, Coach, if they get off the bus looking like us, they're in trouble. And so, they provided me with a lot of assurance, knowing that they was going to get the job done, man, and I was grateful to coach a good group of kids.
Congratulations, Coach. It's great to see South Plaquemines back on top, and keep up the good work.
Thank y'all. I appreciate it.
I'd say his dedication is coming all the way from South Plaquemines too, right? 2.5 hours. There you go. All right, the other new award we have this year, of course, LHSAA Network, a statewide network. And there are coaches of the year in different classes, but we've decided that starting this year, we will name a #1 overall high school coach of the year in Louisiana. And here's a look at our choice for the first one. He's taken 3 different schools to the Dome in 6 years, 2 bringing home state championships. But David Semino's Central Wildcats didn't just take its first title in 58 years. They dethroned the reigning champ Ruston 42-0. While most couldn't see it coming, it was happening the last 2 years while few were around to watch.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. His success is a byproduct of everything that you do off the field, and that you see the culminating event of success happening when people go out there, but really it's all the hours of training with the lights off and nobody's in the stands cheering for you and all those different things.
Semino restructured the Cats' culture amid stiff competition in one of the most demanding 5A districts where perennial powers Catholic and Zachary reside.
Once the relationships are established, it's all about hard work. And it's, you can push kids when you know that they trust you and that you trust them.
Scout D! Scout D on the hop! He was also part of a shocking Parkview Baptist performance under the late Hall of Famer Kenny Guiot. Those Eagles rallied from a 19-0 deficit in the Dome to win 61-19 over Bell Chase.
I mean, really, what I try, I was such an average player that I try and talk about leadership and the things that I encountered, during my playing time, and how I tried to lead and some things that I've seen be successful. But I don't really talk about my playing days much. Not much to talk about. The main stuff is just kind of tell them about the brutality that we used to endure from Coach Guiot, and how if he was here, it'd be a lot worse on them and stuff like that, and how soft I've gotten in my older age.
He may be old, but he's good. The first ever LHSAA Network Coach of the Year in football, David Semino.
Coach, congratulations. What a fun season this was at Central. We were talking to KD about winning that state championship. What was it like coaching these guys?
It's a special group. DK and KD certainly are two of the best I've ever coached, and great kids, but just a great group of kids overall, man, and a magical season. Really, really humbling and an honor to receive this award.
Just like when we were talking with Lyle, he played for a great high school football coach. So did you. What did you learn from the late, great Kenny Guiot?
How much time he got. It's pretty awesome. When we talk about relationships, we actually have a bunch of our guys that played on our senior year team that are here tonight. I guess they all set me up. And some guys that I coached when I was back at Parkview as well, man. But, this game is all about relationships for me. And, such an awesome platform to be able to stand up here, and we got an incredible staff. Our superintendent is here. I think he's probably the only superintendent that's here tonight, so just tremendous alignment and an awesome time to be a part of what we got going on.
You won a state championship at Catholic High, but you were an assistant at Central prior to that. What brought you back to Central? What makes it such a special place?
Yeah, Brandon LeGrew, the principal there, is a guy that I actually coached alongside the first time I was there, and him and Dr. Fountain really laid out the vision for what they wanted to accomplish there, and I believed in what they were preaching, and I believed in those men. So it's been an awesome ride, special 2 years.
It certainly has, and I bet you're not retiring that hat that you're wearing in that video, are you?
No, that's a long story, And Steve kind of set me up. We were on Zoom. I was in Lake Verret, and I just dropped my phone in the water. So long story.
Okay, all right. Coach, congratulations. What a great special season, and keep up the good work at Central.
Thank you, man.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it, man.
And we will wrap up the night with our next segment. You'll get to meet the man who has brought us here tonight, Warrick Dunn, and find out who the 2024 Player of the Year at the 2025 banquet for the LHSAA Network is after this.
So it's going to come down to this. Can they do it?
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Protect what matters most to you and find out the many ways you can benefit. 100% free tuition and fees to all state colleges. Job training in over 150 different career fields, healthcare, pay, and much more. The Louisiana Army National Guard. Part-time service with lifelong benefits. Find out more by visiting www.lang-recruiting.com.
The LHSAA Network presents the 2025 Warrick Dunn Awards, brought to you by Louisiana Army National Guard, Coca-Cola, Real Magic, and Gold Star Trophies, quality products since 1973.
And welcome back into the Warrick Dunn Awards. I was just compiling the years in my head. I've known this guy since he was a sophomore in high school, so that's 35 years ago. And before we get him up here to address you with some words of wisdom, let's take a look at some of the people who are closest to him and what he's meant to them in their life and what they think of him.
I played with Warrick's brother, Travis Smothers, at UL. And just what Warrick Dunn stands for, not just worrying about yourself, of trying to pay things forward.
I was an offensive lineman and he was my running back, so, loved to play for him, loved to block for him, because he was also one of those guys that would come in the huddle and dap you up and say, hey man, great job right there, I appreciate it, he was very humble. The humility that he showed way back then, he continues to show it today, and the things that he continues to do for families, across our state, across our country, it's wonderful.
He and I played Little League football together at one point in time. Warrick is a friend of mine, and I'm very, very happy for him and all the accomplishments that he's reached. And just to get the kids, I always tell my guys, go back and study Warrick Dunn. If you become a finalist, you need to do some research on how he's helped the community, how he's always done something positive.
People that understand that there's things out there that are bigger than what is currently around you, I think is a unique thing nowadays. I think that just few and far between people that realize that their purpose here is to serve others.
Warrick was an incredible athlete, incredible track athlete, and obviously a great football player, but became a tremendous leader. Early on, you could see that he was meant for something bigger than just football.
Wasn't really big, but man, he could fly. He a very elusive guy, and just super competitor, and a lot of warrior built into him, and I think that came from his mom, Betty, as well. But I also remember someone who was very serious about their craft, and they wanted to get better, and they weren't afraid of work.
Me being a teammate and being a younger classmate at Catholic High, and watching somebody who's just 2 years older than me have to be so mature and so wise in the way that he would handle things. Certainly inspiring and motivating. I remember waking up, my dad coming and waking me up when I was, in the 10th grade early, and normally my dad would come wake me up like that. For him to come in and say, hey, I have to share something with you, and to tell me that Miss Betty had been tragically killed the night before, that was just devastating. It crushed me, and I'm not the one that had to live through it. So for Warrick to have to live through that and then end up thriving through that is just incredible, and really only something I think that God can do. And then for him to have his career that he had, the way that he handled himself on the field, off the field, as a teammate, was just tremendous. And then, you know, his home for the holidays. Man, what a just incredible legacy that he's been able to leave.
I was that kid that was going through high school, had the Florida State jackets and everything, and it was because of Warrick Dunn.
But don't forget that he was a bad man on the football field. I mean, he was absolutely incredible.
He was a tough man to tackle. He said, you know, he could evade tackles in a phone booth.
I'd say that's some pretty good endorsements right there. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Warrick Dunn.
Steve's a little too tall, but just want to say thank you guys for coming out tonight. I know Steve was on me for a while about having an award show, an award in my name, and I necessarily didn't really want to think about myself because, you know, as being the oldest of 6, I had a lot of other responsibility, and family always came first for me. And I have to salute my grandmother, who's here tonight. She's 87 years old, my mom's mom. She's grandma. She's different. She's different. I love her though. But I've had a lot of very influential individuals in my life over the years that I think really just kept me in place. They challenged me. And, you know, you have those individuals that challenge you at an early age and you don't really understand it. But, you know, when I lost my mom, I had to grow up fast. I had to make adult decisions. I had to do things differently. And unfortunately, you know, that happened, but I had the individuals in my life to support me. And, you know, I'm thankful for that. So it's like all the athletes in this room. I mean, you're going to have challenges in life, right? Nothing is going to come easy. You're going to fall down. How are you going to get back up? That's the challenge, right? Anything that's handed to you, it's too easy, right? And that's not the realities of life. And just over the years, I've had to learn and be challenged. And being 5'9", 5'8", 5'9", 100, and I went to college, I was 150 some pounds. I had to go and prove and show that I can play. I had to prove that I can outrun somebody, I can make someone miss. And just throughout my whole career, even when I went to the pros, you know, I got drafted, I was 170 some pounds, and I played at the most at 180. And it took me 3 years before the Buccaneers and Coach Dungy, you know, who was a positive role model in my life, it took me 3 years to show him that I can take the pound and I can run inside, I can do this and do that. Because Mike Allstott got injured, he was the fullback, and I went in 9 games, I rushed for over 1,000 yards. And he never questioned me after that because it was my work ethic, it was my commitment, the sacrifices that I made. And I worked out 3 times a day. I was always proved. You tell me you're going to be better than me, I'm going to show you that I'm going to prove to you that you're not, that I'm going to show up. Even if you beat me once, I'm going to come back and show you over and over again. And my brothers and sisters, I have 2 of my brothers are here tonight. I mean, they can tell you my mentality is that I was never, ever going to quit. And I would challenge all of you guys. When it gets tough, we're going to all hit a step in a hole, or, you know, we're going to hit, you know, we're going to get to a point in life. But what are you going to do? And you can't just think about today. I know with the NIL and all that stuff, you got to think about the next 20, 30, 40 years of your life. You can't just live for today. And I'm talking about spending money, managing things, because you got to think about now, but also your future. And the thing that I've learned about that is that I had to spend money on need, not things that I wanted in life. And my advice to you guys, hey, live good lives, but you got to think about your families, their future, the next generation. And for me, it's about the next generation of individuals. And I thought about my brothers and sisters. And, you know, I just want you guys to be successful and, passionate about sports, but also find something else that you're passionate about. I started the Homes for the Holidays program in 1997, and we're getting ready to celebrate 28 years this November, just before Thanksgiving, and we're up to 237 single-parent families that we've helped in 16 states and 30, I'm gonna get this wrong, but over 30 some markets that we've been able to help, and we're about to have a plan to grow and to really impact people in a positive way that's going to help them long term. So for me, it's important that I had individuals like a coach, he's the mayor, but Coach Sid Edwards, and Malin Brooks, who was my father figure who got on me. He helped my mom a lot. I had individuals like that really molded me and pushed me in that right direction, and I'm thankful for that. And I would just, want you guys to think about your futures and the things that you can do, not just for yourselves, but people in your families and so forth. So thank you guys for coming out tonight. I appreciate, Steve and his team, the whole network. Thank you guys for what you're doing, and it's just really, let's just care about it, wrap our arms around each other and love on each other and support each other and help each other take those steps forward to be the best that we can be. So thank you guys again.
He did run over people. I've seen it. And more good news in our relationship. This year we've committed to do 3 days of live coverage from outdoor track and field. The sprinters, the relays, the field events. It's another step in trying to honor, his mom had a track club, and that was a big part of his life other than football. And we learned today he's also pretty good at golf too. So, all right, well, this is the moment we're waiting for, right? To finish things off, the LHSAA Network Player of the Year, who gets the Warrick Dunn Award. Spencer, if you'll bring the envelope over. Thank you. The 2025 Warrick Dunn Player of the Year, JT Lindsay, Ash.
So what do you think, the 2024 Warrick Dunn Award winner?
Man, I'm just out of words right now. Excited.
I mean, you had such a fantastic senior season, and we talked about it earlier, just the competition that you played, playing in the toughest district, or I know there's other tough districts, but one of the toughest districts in the state, and for you to put up the numbers that you did every Friday night, it was just absolutely amazing. What did I guess as you went through, as the season was going along, were you saying, man, this is something else?
I was just having fun, man, building a bond with my teammates, just going out balling like we plan on doing, like just a family thing, really.
Well, it certainly was, and such a great, passionate fan base to bring a winner like you guys did to Alexandria Senior High, and a lot of it was right on your shoulders, but I would give you the opportunity to, I'm sure, thanks a lot of people to help you get to where you're at today.
I mean, where do I start? Like, I got to thank the community, my mom, God, Coach for believing in me, putting me in the game, and my old lineman for sure, man. And shout out Coach Free and Coach Skip to lead me where I am right now.
Yeah. What, when you were working out in the summertime last year, what was kind of your personal and team goals at that point? Maybe take me back 10 months ago or so.
We had to lock in. I told my boys we had to lock in because the coaches, they put so much into it, like day in, day out. Like you could go to Coach Bachman's house, he's probably watching film, watching huddle. He just preparing for the future.
Well, now that you got this award, how much more of a motivation to win some more awards over at LSU?
Oh, man, ain't nothing but a thing. All you got to do is put your head down and work. Hopefully I win some more.
Thanks a lot. We appreciate it. If we could get Coach Bachman up here, too, we would like to talk to him as well about JT. But congratulations, JT, on a fantastic season.
Let's give a hand to JT for sure. Coach, come on up.
Thanks again. Hey, Coach. Well, congratulations, first of all. Tell me about JT and what a person he is.
Yeah, that's hard to do in a couple of minutes, but he's obviously meant a lot to our program, a lot to our city, and I think I said it in his thing, talking about his toughness, and that day in and day out approach that he had, and he was. I mean, early in his career, he wanted more. I mean, you don't go to LSU and not have ability, but he wasn't the every down starter on Friday night as a sophomore. We had another good player, and there was just a hunger and a frustration, and so many kids when they go through that, how they choose to handle it is very, very important. And the thing that he did was continue to show up, continue to work while he waited his turn. It's not that he wasn't playing, but he just wasn't playing the amount of snaps that he wanted. He wasn't getting the carries that he wanted. And JT's a kid that gets better the more carries that he gets. Sometimes I would get off the field and get the stat sheet and didn't realize we had given it to him quite as many times as we had given it to him. But, I thought that he got stronger as the game went on. And, I think that goes back to what he went through early in his career.
When you took the head coaching job at Alexandria Senior High, you knew that was a program that it seemed like, hey, something special could happen here, but I need special kids for it to occur. I would imagine when you took the job, JT Lindsay was a guy that you would imagine, hey, this is the type of player I need to really put this football program on the map.
Yeah, no doubt. It takes special players. It takes special people. It's been a long 10 years. It's been a lot of hard work. And, I've said this. I don't mean any disrespect. I do feel like there's times where people, kind of overlook or, it's not the most well-respected area of the state when you start competing, Central Louisiana. And, when you can get a group of people to believe, special things can happen. And, when you get a player like JT, I mean, we've had some great players in the past. I think we've got 12 or 13 right now on college rosters. I think we've got every Power 4 conference represented right now. So we've had a lot of great players that have come through and are the foundation pieces for us as far as my tenure and my group of guys that have been with me since day one. But JT gives you something to believe. I think it was Coach Ball talked about when your best players are your hardest workers, your highest character kids, that special things begin to happen. And, JT was certainly that for us.
Last question for you, because I remember the 2 times that I got a chance to cover your team this season, you told me about the impact that he has made to the community. And I don't know if JT has realized it yet, and maybe he will as time goes on, but I'm sure you hear from it. Parents and someone, hey, my little boy is looking up to him. Just give me an idea of what he has meant to Alexandria.
Yeah, when you walk into the school building and every teacher enjoys having him in the classroom, looks forward to, just their interactions with him, the way that he gives back. I mean, he is a local celebrity everywhere that he goes. There's kids coming up to him wanting pictures and autographs, and the humility that he carries himself with, and he's never too big, never too busy to give back, and I think that's an important thing, and I think that's going to carry him a long way as he starts on this journey. I mean, this is just the beginning. What he's fixing to enter into, it's head down, back to work to go chase the next dream that you have.
Well, Coach Bachman, develop the next JT Lindsay and hope to have you back in the seat one day soon.
I look forward to it.
All right, Coach. Congratulations on a terrific season.
Appreciate
and
it.
Well done with JT Lindsay.
Almost impossible every year to pick a winner for this award. The room is full of winners. We all know that. We saw that on the screen tonight. There are a lot of thank yous to hand out. First to Warrick Dunn, to Sid Edwards, what they meant in supporting and keeping this event going. Certainly our sponsors, certainly our crew, our photographers, our producers and directors, the people you don't see, not just for an event like this, but the telecast we've done recently in basketball and girls basketball, soccer, football in the Superdome. Thank you to all of those efforts, to sponsors that have supported us, and mostly to you who were here tonight to be part of this experience, you that watch live on television and continue to watch the network and support the things we're trying to do to give high school athletes the most exposure, because they deserve it in every single sport, boys and girls. Other than that, we're going to say goodnight. Be safe going home. I'm Steve Schneider. Have a great evening, and thanks for coming.